This is Carla Renata, the Curvy Critic. This question that I have is specifically for Jonathan, but the rest of you gentlemen are more than welcome to pipe in if you'd like. I too am a daughter of a Vietnam vet. And so, Jonathan, I was wondering what your thoughts are regarding the psychological effects for someone who is the child or the grandchild of a Vietnam vet, especially for our younger generation, now that we are currently in this kind of martial law, civil war situation going on.
That's a great question. I think being the child of the child and the grandchild of war vets, there are tremendous benefits. First and foremost, you learn a certain amount of discipline, a certain amount of stoicism, a certain amount of ingenuity, um, and you're active. You know to be active. Um, the things I've noticed and the things I experienced growing up is that there's a frustration that they have um, in my cases where they've been given all these tools. They've been trained to be not just a citizen but a soldier, right? They have the intellect of a soldier, they have the body of a soldier, they have the engine of a soldier, and then they've come home in most cases and they've been told, yeah, you can't use these tools anymore. And so there's a frustration and unrest that's in them. And as the son and the grandson of one, there's a reason why I didn't join the military, because I saw how that, uh, in some ways, crippled them. In some ways, both my grandfathers lived on farms in isolation, and they would come into town, right, to deal with things. And so what I learned from that, and what I would say to young people who are dealing with, a patriarch or a matriarch, a father or a mother who has been in that service, is to do in a way what I did in working with Delroy as my father, as Paul. You look at them, you see their strengths, and you have a choice as their child. You can either become them or you can complement them. And so the soldier mentality that my father has in the film and in life, I decided to complement, right, in order to move the Majors family forward, the Anderson family forward. We've already got our soldier. I'm going to give you an actor. I'm going to give you an intellectual, right, because we are one. Um, that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
The Curvy Critic. I want to say something about the youth. You asked on the tail end of your question, what would you say to the youth? And I know that you were speaking about perhaps young people who may have parents who are veterans, but I want to just take a more broad answer to your question.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so given that the youth, very similar to the 60s, the civil rights movement in the 60s, the youth are at the forefront of what's happening. The youth are at the forefront of the rejection of the status quo that's happening right now.
And
So
white kids are joining us.
White kids too. And it's not only an American phenomenon, it's become a global phenomenon. What I would say to the youth currently is, whatever your personal circumstances are, and anybody who has seen the video of that young lady who shot that cop in Minneapolis, traumatized, talking about her experience standing there and filming. That young lady is traumatized. But what I would say, despite whatever your personal circumstances may be and your personal traumas and pain, the fact that the youth are the vanguard of the rejection of the status quo is such a profoundly affirming thing. And it gives me, as an old head, I'm a parent of a soon-to-be 19-year-old African-American man-child. And I have all of the concerns and anxieties and fears that go along with that. But what I would say is, given that the youth are at the forefront of this rejection, that's affirming to me, and it gives me some hope for the future, not only of this country, but of the world, because the young people are bringing it right now.
Bringing it.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
God bless you. Thank you.
To keep up with the Curvy Critic, like our page here, click that subscribe button, and click that bell for notifications. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.